after we married very newly, myself and my wife, there was this shoe that I bought. I liked the shoe very well, but the shoe was smaller than my leg. But I wanted to wear the shoe. You know how children behave when you buy them Christmas shoe, no matter what is oversized, they must wear it. And if the shoe is bigger than your leg, you walk funny. And if the shoe is smaller than your leg, you also walk funny. So this was the type that was my case. And I was wearing agbada. When I reached the altar to preach, that was when I realized that I made the worst mistake. At that stage, I was wondering, should I pull the shoe and just preach on barefoot? Because it was unbearable. Now, what will the people think? What happened to this young man? He just married. Any challenge? I didn't pray. I just looked and said, you know what? I just focused on the people and started preaching with fire. I don't know if the fire fired the pain or something. But suddenly, I was unaware that my shoe was tight. Preach for about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. By the time I said, let's stand up and pray. You want to give your life? At that time, as I was rounding up, the shoe reminded me. He said, I am still here. And my size has not increased. I learned a valuable lesson that I'm telling you now that day. That face solution. And you won't be conscious of problems. In the year was in 1992. I was preaching to medical students at the Ilorin Youth Center. That is 33 years ago. I was feverish. I was shaking. I was on the desk to preach. I can't forget the message I preached that day. The rod of his strength. Psalm 110 verse 3. The Lord will raise the rod of his strength out of Zion. And by the time it was time to preach, it was impossible for me to even think of moving. Body was racking with pain. I was shivering literally. You know what I said? I said, just let me get there. If I have to lie down on the altar, just bring the microphone close to my mouth. I will preach. By the time I stepped on that altar and I was about to minister, bam, as if an electricity electrocuted the infirmity. It took off back to hell. I will never forget that message. I won't forget that service. Doctors today, professors everywhere around the world who were in that meeting will never forget it. It was raw fire impartation. People were under power, like, you know, the kind of thing we saw in Area 1 until we reduced a bit. When you say receive and everybody is falling and all the plastic chairs are disappearing. Just begin to think now of what to begin to do, how to enhance someone's life or your nation or your community or the church, or begin and don't let the devil leave you with yourself in frustration and in depression and in discouragement. You will realize that in a short while you just escaped the arena of problems.